there, lovely people. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying a fraction by a whole number and the steps that we need to do when we're doing that fraction by a whole number multiplication. All right, guys, let's dive in because this is some good stuff. All right, so let's say, for example, I have 5/8 times 4. When I multiply fractions, I want a fraction and a fraction, not a mixed number, not a whole number, but two fractions. So I'm going to rewrite my problem, but I'm going to have two fractions. So my 5/8 I'm just bringing down. That's a fraction already. And I'm going to multiply that by 4. Well, how do I turn 4 into a fraction? Well, if I like it, then I put a 1 under it, right? Kind of like Beyonce. If you like it, you put a ring on it. So if I like it, then I could have put a 1 under it. You get what I'm saying. You put a 1 under it. Because 4 divided by 1 is still 4. So I still have 4, but now I have it as a fraction. Once I have my two fractions, my process is easy. I'm going to do the top times the top, the bottom times the bottom. But before I do that process, I'm going to see if I can make any of these numbers smaller. I'm going to use that strategy called cross simplify, right? I look at the 8 and the 4, and I'm like, wait a minute. Those are both divisible by 4, so I can make those numbers smaller. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now I have slightly smaller numbers, which makes my multiplication way easier. So now I'm going to do top times the top. 5 times 1 is 5. And then bottom times the bottom. 2 times 1 is 2. Now I have an improper fraction answer, so I have to make that a mixed number. This is when we pull in all those fraction skills. So 5 divided by 2. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4, and 5 minus 4 is 1. So here's how I read that answer. Here's my whole number, and then I travel in a circle. Numerator, denominator. So 2 and 1/2 is my final answer, right? So kind of a lot of steps, but none of the numbers we're dealing with are too complicated, right? It's all just about taking your time and practicing that perseverance, right? Your ability to do hard things even when you doubt yourself a little, but you shouldn't because you're brilliant. All right, let's try another one. Say I have, let's do 3/4 times 10, right? I have that fraction times a whole number. But again, I want a fraction times that fraction. So I'm going to put a 1 under it. Now, at this point, I could just multiply across. Top times the top, bottom times the bottom. But again, I want to make my numbers as small as possible. So I look at that 4 and 10, and I realize those are both even numbers, so I could simplify them by dividing by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now I can do my multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15, top times the top. 2 times 1, bottom times the bottom, is 2. And again, I have that improper fraction that I'm going to make a whole number. Top goes on the inside, bottom goes on the outside. 2 goes into 15 7 times. 2 times 7 is 14. And then 15 minus 14 is 1. So whole number, numerator, denominator. 7 and 1/2. Okay, I'm going to do one more problem, but this time I'm not going to cross simplify. I'm just going to go with it and see where it takes me. So let's do 7/9 times 2. Right? Again, I have that fraction in a whole number, but I want to make it a fraction times a fraction. So I'm going to put a 1 under it. So I'm not going to try to cross simplify, but to be honest, I couldn't anyway. So let's do top times the top. 7 times 2 is 14. Bottom times the bottom. 9 times 1 is 9. I have that improper answer, so I make it a mixed number. 14 divided by 9. 9 goes into 14 just one time. 1 times 9 is 9. And 14 minus 9 is 5, right? And if you need to use your fingers or your toes or whatever you need, remember, there's no shame in using strategies to help you with your multiplication, your addition, your subtraction, or your division. So this is a judgment-free zone. Remember, top number is your whole number, and then you travel. Numerator, denominator. I have 1 and 5 left over out of that group of 9 that I was trying to make. 1 and 5/9 is that final answer. I realize that I can do hard things. I'm a genius. Give myself a pat on the back. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. Love ya. Bye.